Hey gang, it's James coming on. I'm parked for the day, and it took me a little while to hit the go button on this live stream because I don't want to do this live stream. I've been fighting doing this live stream all week, and I've hit a point to where I can't fight it anymore. Guys, I'm hurting. Not physically. Emotionally, yes. Spiritually, yes. So, this is a culmination of things that I've been seeing and experiencing for months. So, I'm not responding to any one specific thing. And if you've seen, these little fireside chats for long enough, you know that this is a consistent theme that I kind of talk about. I've done videos about this general idea in regards to different topics, like the calendar dispute. I've done a handful of videos where I just kind of try to provide some type of logic to this idea of the flat earth, and I end up taking them down because I always feel like they're not productive. So, why am I making this video now? A few days ago, Matthew Jansen, this is not about him. I love Brother Matthew. If I ever get to meet him in person, he's getting a big old bear hug from yours truly. But he put out a video basically explaining that he's been researching it on his own for about a year, and he came to the conclusion, basically, that the earth is flat with a dome, etc., etc. That's not what I'm going to talk about. Okay? I'm not going to talk about, his position or any of that. Because I take the position that I am agnostic on the shape of the earth. I don't know. I can't prove it one way or another. With my own two eyes, I see evidence for a curvature on the earth. I understand logically that radius is relative to the observer. So, if you have a circle with a given radius, the larger the observer is relative to the radius, the more the curvature will be visible. A human can easily see the curvature on a basketball, but put an ant on the basketball, and the curvature is going to be less obvious to that ant. The surface will look flatter. He still might see a curve, but not to the extent that we do. But that's a point of logic, and I didn't get on to discuss that. The reason I'm hurting is because of the comments section on this video. We're up over 300 comments now. And it's probably going to keep going and going and going because this is such a contentious topic. But I put out a post yesterday about unity. And I've talked about this in various sundry ways for a while. This idea that as long as we seek doctrinal unity, we will never achieve unity of purpose. Why? Because we all interpret everything differently. Like it or not, when we all read the same Bible, we come to different conclusions because a lot of it is subjective. I wish I could say that the Bible is objective, but I can't say that, otherwise we would all be in lockstep. So the reality is, it's up for interpretation. But the problem is that everybody believes that their interpretation is the one and only correct one, and everyone else is short-sighted, ignorant, or just a fool. So in the comments section on this video, I'm seeing comment after comment after comment after comment. Hey, welcome to our side. I'm glad you finally saw it, brother. I remember when my eyes were opened by flat earth. And what are we doing here when we make these types of comments? We're basically saying, my team is the winning team. I'm glad you finally joined. Prior to that, you were on the losing team, right? Because everything has to be two-party, it's a two-party dialectic. You have to be a Republican or a Democrat. You can't be a libertarian. You can't be a free-thinking independent. No, God forbid. You can't be anywhere in the middle on biblical cosmology, where yours truly happens to live. I'm not supposed to be there. I'm supposed to either be 100% on the flat earth train or 100% on the baller train, and that's the wrong train apparently, because that's for fools and idiots who have been duped by NASA and are too blind to see it. So we've got a whole bunch of people who should be united in purpose, and we're playing team sports with something like biblical cosmology. And, you know, I'm not going to say, why does it matter? I'm not going to say it's not important, because it does matter. It is important. Truth matters. And when it comes to biblical cosmology, there is a truth. And I would love to know it. But what I'm seeing here is we like to deride Torah terrorists, and we all know what that is. These people that come onto the Torah train and they're brand new, wet behind the ears, they're full of zeal and fire, and it's their job to just go educate everyone about why they need to keep the Sabbath and eat clean. And so they take the Torah and they go to their mom and dad and their cousins and their former pastor, and they just beat them over the head with it, thinking that that is going to convince them. I'm seeing the exact same attitude directed from my flat earth brothers and sisters, not all of you blessedly, but a good many of you, towards those who have not made that decision. People are treating people who don't look at the earth as flat the same way that Torah terrorists treat mainline Sunday worshipers. I mean, you know, if you want to convince somebody, yeah, go tell them, hey, you're blind, and I'll be glad when your eyes are finally open to the truth that I see. That'll do it. And this is why I've advocated for the longest time, and I wasn't always of this mind. I used to be a Torah terrorist to an extent. But I'm at the position now to where I advocate, instead of beating people over the head with Torah, we walk it. We live it, and we let people see it. And we let free sovereign minds decide whether or not they want to follow suit and whether or not they want to enter into covenant with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Those same people that we are trying to convince should be keeping Shabbat, eating clean, keeping the other holy days and other righteous ways of Yahweh, are watching as we publicly go back and forth talking about, is the earth flat? Is it round? Is NASA real? Did we ever go to the moon? Etc., etc., etc. So my question is, you've got parents who are mainline Sunday worshipers, and you are in this Hebrew roots Torah Messianic thing, and you would like them to come along. They have to pick. Either they follow you and they start keeping Sabbath and eating clean, or they continue to worship on Sunday and eat pork, but hey, the earth is flat. You got to pick one. Because these people are looking at your pages and they're seeing all this mixed content. And we are human beings, and we have a tough time discerning. So to take the very people that we are trying to educate, or we should be trying to educate, as to the reality of Yahweh's holy, righteous ways, and not only are we hitting them with that, but we're also hitting them with, hey, by the way, you're a moron if you believe NASA's lies. What are we accomplishing? I'm not saying don't look into biblical cosmology. I'm not saying don't believe the earth is flat. That's a personal thing. But what I am saying is, these are the kinds of things that we should be working out in-house. We should be having these discussions inside the camp, so to speak. And I'm largely speaking here to people within the Hebrew roots Torah Messianic sphere. Yes, you do have flat earthers in the mainline Christian Sunday sphere. I don't really orbit in that sphere anymore, so I don't know what that's like. I don't have any first-hand experience of what they're dealing with. I would imagine it's probably similar. But my point is when somebody comes along and says, oh, I'm flat earth now. Yay, he's on our side. Us against them. Here we go. Yay. And we wonder why we don't have unity. Brad Scott used to always say, you don't see the Holy Spirit moving on a group of people unless they're gathered in one accord. You read Acts chapter 2. They were gathered together in one accord. Did they have doctrinal differences? I'm sure they did. Did they put those aside so that they could be together in one accord? Yeah. And we look around and we wonder why we're not showing the power of the Holy Spirit. Why can't we go heal people? Why aren't people prophesying? And by that I don't mean crunching numbers and trying to pick the date of the apocalypse. I mean legit prophecy. Speaking as a mouthpiece for the divine. Why do we not see that in a legitimate way? I would postulate because we are not in one accord. Yahweh's people function as a unit. Brad Scott made this point as well. Read the creation week. Day 1, it was good. Day 2, it was good. Day 3, it was good. He gets to day 6, and then what? It was very good. It only became very good after he had created every single aspect of his creation, and they were working together as a unit. Then it's very good, not before. But we all want to sit around and think, oh, I've got it. I am the arbiter of truth. You knuckleheads out there are going to see it my way one of these days. Curtis Reed calls it themitis. It's always them. It's always the other guy. It's never me. I'm reading posts that people are sharing. The posts are true. And basically saying the same thing I am. Why are we fussing and fighting and arguing over this? But when you go and you look at these same people's pages, you can scroll back weeks and months, and you will see the exact same behavior emanating from those Facebook pages. Because these people know that this is foolish, they know it's divisive, and they know it's wrong, but they want to continue in the behavior because they believe that they are the ones that are right. And so they're gaslighting the rest of us. And guys, I am tired of it. I slept very little last night because this is the kind of stuff that was chewing on me. I'm to the point now to where all of this stuff, the calendar, Enoch, flat earth, whatever, I just want to wipe my hands, just wash my hands and just walk away from it and be like, you guys have fun. I'm going to hunker down in the Word. I'm going to hunker down in the parts that I can walk and the parts that I can live, because I guarantee when I stand before the judgment seat, I'm not going to be gathered. I'm not going to be judged on which books I believe should be gathered into the canon. Oh, you didn't believe Jubilees should be in the canon? Sorry. Oh, you thought we landed on the moon? Sorry, James. Like seriously. No, these are things we are not going to be judged on, but yet they're the very things that we sit on his throne and judge each other on, and it's got to stop. I am to the point in my life now to where I do not care. I don't want anyone coming to me with this stuff. Don't send me videos trying to convince me that the earth is flat. Maybe it is. And if that's true, I trust that Abba will reveal it to me someday like he apparently did you. In the meantime, I am happy to hunker down on my walk. I know that the prayer of a righteous man availeth much, so I'm going to work on being a righteous man. People want to debate all this stuff, fine. That's great. Have at it. But I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of it. So I'm not talking any of this stuff. I'm not talking Apocrypha. I'm not talking Flat Earth. I'm not talking calendar. All of these things. If they come up in one-on-one, intimate conversations, fine, so be it. That's productive. But out here in the public sphere, because I am in a public space with what I do, I don't want to get into that. I don't. I want to be with people who can look past that and say, okay, It's not a team thing. It's not like so-and-so is on our side now. We should all be on the same side. But maybe we're all too blind to see that. So I'm kind of at my wit's end, guys, and I really am hurting. I'm expressing frustration. I'm expressing borderline anger because I can see myself. But the root of this is pain. My heart is really hurting over this because I'm seeing the division. People that should be walking together in unity of spirit, unity of purpose, but we can't do it because we're putting up the dividing wall that the Messiah brought down. Right? Ephesians 2, he tore down the wall. What was the wall? The enmity. The enmity between who? The Jews and the Gentiles. Over what? Should Gentiles keep the Torah? That wall was torn down, but we're putting up a new wall now. The wall between flat earthers and ballers. Between, Enoch calendar people and barley people. Between Unitarians and Trinitarians and Arians and whoever. Modalists. You don't agree with me, so I'm going to put this wall up. And anybody inside this wall is in my class of understanding. We're basically a sect at this point. Didn't Paul warn us about factions? But no, we're too spiritual now that we do Torah. We're too spiritual for that. I'm going to get a nap, guys. I love you. Thank you for tuning in. I don't know how many people will watch this. I don't know how many people will even bother to consider it. But the doctrine itself is not the issue. It's the framing of the doctrine relative to how we love each other. And right now, in this Messianic Hebrew thing, we ain't looking so good. But it's the other guy. It's not me. Yahweh bless.